ZZZ devs are facing a little bit of backlash as some players over in China, their home turf, are sending feedbacks, I don't want to say complaining, right, about the state of Alice X Jane. Some of them feel that Alice and Jane needs to be toned down a little bit before Alice does hit the live servers. Why do they want this changed? If I asked you, who would be better? 12 cost Evelyn, right? That's just Evelyn, 12 cost M6R5 with her premium team fighting a Fire Week boss Pompeii, or do you think that Jane X Alice will be better? 10 out of 10 will say, of course, it's going to be Evelyn. But the thing is, you know what? Just watch this clip. Even at this 5 cost investment, she's still doing really well, but it starts to spike at 8 costs. In between 8 to 12 is where it pops the hell off. So keep that in mind as we go back to the original post. So we talked about who wants the nerf, who wants the developers to do a revision, and we talked about what? Alice X Jane, mostly coming from Jane's M2, Mindscape 2. And then why? Here is the reason. Right. And this is, once again, before I go any further, if I hear one more, oh, they're only strong against physical weak. Before I explain more about the situation, which I already made a video about, I need to explain why I'm making this video. It doesn't matter if it's 5 people complaining or not. That's not the important point. What HOYO can do, the ZZZ devs, what they could do is change Alice either before her release. We got 2 days and a couple change before she releases. They could do a patch in the game before Alice releases to change her, or they can change her after release. And it's not just Alice here either. It could be Jane as well. Maybe her Mindscape 2 gets changed. We don't know, right? The wording can be changed. Maybe the M2 doesn't work for all her teammates. It only works for herself. We don't know. That's the thing. That's why I'm making this video. So for those that want to take advantage of this opportunity, because it is an opportunity that others are looking forward to, we'll get there. But before I get there, let me tell you, if you're looking forward to this opportunity, I think it is worth waiting to see if they change anything. And if you're thinking they're not going to change after release, they have. They have with Trigger. It's not like a big deal with Trigger, but they still have. And before Vivian released, they also, the interaction with Jane and Vivian was changed before Vivian did launch. So I'm hoping that happens as well, that if they're ever going to change the, I'm just going to call it Alice X Jane, right? The furry comp, the little rat and the rabbit comp. I feel like if they're going to change it, if they even change it at all, I hope they do it before. The best thing would have been if they fixed this before the creator servers. You should be aware before you pull. If you care about that stuff, if you're like, oh, I'm gonna pull Alice because she's cute, I'm not talking to you, right? We're talking to people that care about like meta and pull value, numerical DPS value, right? So for those, I think it's safe to kind of like wait. I hate to say this, but I think that like the creator experience right now is not, if you care about Jane X Alice, I think that it's safer to wait. We don't know if they nerf it 1 day or 5 days in. We don't know if they're gonna just leave it alone. I think it's better to play it safe, but at the end of the day, you guys are grown adults. You guys do what you want to do. And after I discuss what's going on, there's more about this, right? People are talking about what the devs can do, like the outcomes, the multiple outcomes, right? Let me know down below what you guys think they should do. At the end of the day, it's not in my hands, it's all in their hands. So let me tell you what's going on. Jane, Alice, Yuzua was always a team theorized that could work, and it does really well all at M0. More here if you're interested in building this team. Within about 7 limited investments, it's still within the power curve of all other teams in the game at that amount of investment. All right. However, at 10 to 12 limited investments, the team spikes exponentially. Exponentially. Right? What is the max cost in ZZZ? 3 characters, 12 a pop, times 3, 36. So this is, for now, until we don't know what HOYO is going to do. They could release it as is, and then down the road, make all the bosses have like physical resistance, or anomaly build-up rate for physical is, you need more. They could do that, right? But that's going to affect more players than those that just play Alice X Jane. That's why this is that's why I'm making this video, because whatever they do, it's going to hurt somebody. All right. So I think we should just play it safe. So at this cost level, don't even fucking try to argue with me. All right. It is the strongest comp right now if it's not nerfed. If nothing's changed, this is at this investment level, it is the strongest. It is the strongest. But it's physical. No. The team spikes exponentially, matching full M6 W5 teams, which is a 36 cost. I already showed you guys in the previous video. I have the evidence in the previous video in Deadly Assault and Shiyu. Check this out. For those with no context on what that means, for those that don't know the ZZZ meta, the team clears Shiyu's 7th floor in 14 seconds. 14. This makes the team twice as stronger than Miyabi at the same investment level, and Yixuan at the same investment levels, and 3 times stronger than other teams. Now, do with this information what you want to do. If you think that's fair, I'm not going to disagree with you. If you think that is not fair, I'm not here to disagree. I'm just the messenger to tell you people are discussing about this, and HOYO will find out. They probably know it's Monday over there. All right, and they're probably gonna have a solution. Even doing nothing is a solution. If you want to have, this is what I coined, all right? If you want to have the most powerful, cheapest, expensive team in the game, see what I did there? So if you want to take advantage of this, maybe you can. But here's the thing. If HOYO knows this and they don't nerf it, there's another thing they could do. By the time Jane reruns, they could alter things. I'm telling you, man, this is a hot knife right here. Anyways, the power level of the 12 cost version first came to light in a 54-second run against Miasma Fiend a day ago. And I showcased that in the previous video. Check that out, all the fights, if you want to replicate the team. Beating out an M6, R5, W5 Miyabi teams. At the time, players thought this was an outlier because of the shield buff. What is a shield buff? Because this boss right here is weak to physical. So people thought, oh, it's only strong because of physical. People said the same in my previous video. Well, like 3 people did, because they didn't know how to read the disclaimer at the start of the video. But shielding doesn't make you do 100 million damage in 54 seconds, especially with such investments. The following morning, CCs in China have shown that this team averages 70 seconds across the board. This means against every Deadly Assault boss available in the creator server. We're talking about Palm P, Typhon. We're talking about the Butcher. They even selected other buffs on purpose. And even in shield defense, once again, 14-second clear. Twice faster than Miyabi and Yixuan. These are undeniable numerical data. If you watch the previous video, if you look at like Alice's core passive, if you look at Jane, the not state, it is for all the teammates. If any of your teammate does something, all your teammates benefit. So there are separate multipliers, especially Jane M2. Alice further amplifies the damage by being able to disorder crit assault with a crit polarity assault. So basically all the assaults are critting, there's multiple disorders happening, and it's not just like once in a blue moon, it's happening so often. So TLDR, DPS really high for the cost that you invest. And it's not like really backloaded, it's kind of like in the front. It's not all the way in the front, it's kind of in the first 1/3, which means it's accessible for even free-to-play players if Jane did rerun today or in this 2.1 cycle. So if Jane did rerun this Wednesday, and if you're free to play, you picked up a couple mindscapes, or if you want to swipe a little bit and you picked it up, then you'd be able to beat every freaking Deadly Assault boss in the game. Not only with like it is so freaking strong, right? I just showed you my Evelyn getting clapped. Not only is it cheaper to pull this off, but it is also super, well, fun is subjective. In my opinion, it looks peak in terms of gameplay. Like it is that perfect, quick swappable team that I really want to play. So it's accessible to a lot of the players. So what could be the problem here, guys? Maybe the devs introduce more HP inflation or anomaly buildup inflation, which they already did with 2.1, but that's going to affect other people that don't play Alice X Jane. And if they slap physical resistance to all the future bosses, then what about like people that play Piper? That's not fair, right? So it's really... Here's what could happen. So they delay the Jane's rerun until the devs figure out how to deal with the team. With Mindscape 2. Remember, if they change the way her Mindscape 2 works, or reword it, or recode it, or like I said, put it from M2 to M4, then that's problematic as well. Real whales don't complain about stuff like this because they just M6R5 everybody. That's what a real whale is. People that would complain is people that stopped whaling, right? They can't afford to keep whaling. They're gonna fake whales. Anyways, biggest thing that can affect all of us is accelerated power creep. Any nerf to the M2 version inevitably, holy, I can't freaking pronounce, dude. Inevitably, I'm gonna cut my tongue off. All right, hits the M0 version as well. In that sense, the devs really need to balance whale, dolphin. Oh, dude, it's such a nightmare. Other Alice teams that are performing within the power curve gets hit as well. So yeah. So and then finally, loss of trust in the devs and the CC server content, because they saw, especially in China, the power of Alice X Jane. They're like getting ready for it, and then come Wednesday they pull, and then a couple hours later is nerfed, right? They're gonna be crushed.